Hello, welcome to the first video of my brand new psychology series. Today I will be discussing a specific area of the brain called the prefrontal cortex, PFC for short. First, there are many different areas of the brain. It's split up into several different sections called lobes, and each lobe is largely responsible for a certain task. Today we'll be focusing on the frontal lobe, more specifically an area of the frontal lobe called the ventromedial prefrontal cortex, an area of the prefrontal cortex, or VMPFC for short. The VMPFC is in charge of controlling impulsive behaviors. It is known for System 1 processing, which is a quick, impulsive thinking process, and System 2 processing, which is a slow, more thought-out thinking process. Each thinking process can be useful in its own way, which I will go into detail in later videos. Now, in psychology, there are several different methods of studying humans, human behavior, brain functions, and brain structures. Today, I will specifically be looking at a study called the Iowa Gambling Task, conducted by a neuroscientist by the last name of Becara. He created the Iowa Gambling Task to study System 1 and System 2 processes. Each Iowa Gambling Task is a game consisting of 4 separate piles of cards. 2 piles, when chosen from, will have a 50-50 chance of pulling a high-risk card and a 50-50 chance of pulling a high-reward card. The 2 other piles, when selected from, will have a chance of a low-risk card, but also a chance of a low reward. Becara gathered a group of participants and split them up based on damage in specific areas of the brain. One group had no damage in the brain, while the other group had some damage in the VMPFC. Note: damage to the brain was not induced by Becara or any of the other scientists involved, as that would be considered highly unethical. Instead, participants had pre-existing brain damage. What Becara found was that the group with no brain damage, or damage in other areas of the brain, were able to find a pattern between the separate piles of cards, whereas the group with a PFC damage weren't able to find a pattern quickly, and were more inclined to pull from a higher risk deck. This shows System 2 thinking from Group 1, as they used a slower way of thinking as opposed to Group 2, which used System 1 thinking and acted on impulse. This study demonstrates how PFC influences decision making, as seen by those with no damage in the PFC. They were better able to control their impulsive actions than those with damage in the PFC. Now, consider this scenario. A parent and a young child are out shopping. After collecting everything they need, they proceed to the checkout line, and the boy sees a shiny red toy car that he really wants. His mother, knowing that he just received a separate toy car for his birthday, says no to the purchase. Most likely, the boy will begin to cry and stomp his feet in agony of not being able to get what he wants. But why is this? Well, when the brain is first developing, it starts forming from the spinal cord and forms from the inside out. After the child is born, many parts of the brain are still developing, mostly the outer and most forward parts of the brain. Since the PFC is located at the very front of the brain, this is one of the last areas of the brain which are fully developed. So, young children with an area of the brain in charge of controlling impulse that has not yet been fully developed are unable to control their impulsive decisions and use System 2 processing. That is all for today. Thank you very much for watching the first episode of the series. Bye-bye.